So we're just finishing up the subfloor today, and I just thought I would show a couple of things that we're doing here. Dad, hold on. So we had this spot in the floor that it didn't line up on this floor joist well, and then there was like a little broken off piece, and so we went ahead and nailed this 2x4 here to support the floor. Otherwise it would have not been supported and it would have had issues. So that's something that we did to fix it. And then I think I'm gonna just do a couple videos and put them all together just about how we're doing things here. So.
Well, we're at least moving.
Okay, so one thing that we did to make this a bit easier, just because we have our floor joists every 16 inches, we marked the subfloor sheets every 16 inches with a line, so we knew exactly, we use this T-square, and we made a line every 16 inches so we knew exactly where the floor joist should be, so that way we could put the nails in and not have a bunch of shiners. So these are marked every 16 inches, and then we just use this T-square to put a line down, and then we know exactly where the floor joist should be, and then we could just put the nails right there and don't have to kind of guess and end up missing some of the time. So just makes it a little bit easier. So one thing that we're doing here is we're running a chalk line, so we know exactly where we want the edge of our subfloor to go, so that way it's not shifted by like 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 or whatever, and then just messes up the whole floor, because you can get off very quickly. So we put a chalk line down so then we can look and see exactly where we want to line this up at. So we're also gluing the floor joists underneath so that the floor doesn't move or creak. This is pretty standard. So another thing we're doing here is making sure that the floor joists, we pull them over so that they're lined up with this line here. So that way we know they're every 16, because when you have this much of a span, which we're gonna put blocking under here later, but when you have this much of a span, the floor joists can, move or whatever, and then you sometimes don't end up on it. When you have a seam, you don't have a floor joist. So if you keep them every 16 and you keep them in line as you're putting down the subfloor, that really helps prevent that. So we just finished up the subfloor, and we're finishing up for the week because I have to work the next 3 days. So the plan is to start with framing of the main floor next week. So this is where we're at. So we've got the whole main floor sheeted, and then we'll start framing next week.